Pistons. 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 Today, we're talking about Pistons. Let's get into this. What's up, guys? This is Clint Lund with LundMX, and today we're talking about Pistons, the also controversial topic, right? It seems like anytime I'm in, whether it's a Facebook chat forum or an online forum or Instagram or whatever, people are always just like at each other's heads about Pistons. Which one you should use? No, mine's better. Why would you ever use that? Let's just kind of get into that today and knock out some myths and just talk about Pistons. And let's pick on my 07 CRF450 because I have no idea, none, how many hours are on this bike. Like at all. Seriously, none at all. So what that means is probably be good to, pull a piston out and see how it looks. And if you're going to go ahead and pull a piston out, then you might as well plan on replacing it, because there's no sense. There's like literally no sense at all in just pulling a piston to look at it and then putting it back in just how you got it, no matter how many hours are on it. So with that being said, we're going to pull apart my 07 CRF450R. This is one of the most fantastic bikes I've ever owned. Yes, it's an 07. It's getting up there in the years. I mean, it's over 10 years old. Shoot, it's over 14 years old, right? Math? I don't know. But we need to take this thing apart because it is an amazing bike. I want to keep riding this thing because out here in the desert land, this is one of the most fantastical bikes I've ever had in my life. Yes, I have the 2018 YZ450. I got the worst bike on Craigslist. I got the KX500. I got the Yzuki. I got the Yamasaki. I got the GPX. Got KX250. I got CRT. I got all the bikes. But this one steals my heart, so we're going to take it apart, take a little look inside. So I'm going to go ahead and spare you guys the pain. I'm just going to tear that thing right down, and we're going to talk about Pistons because you're going to learn a lot. All right? All right? Sound good? Sounds good. 30 minutes. I got the top end off. Pretty easy. Didn't really find out anything special down the bottom end other than the crank has been replaced, which is always nice, and it was replaced with OEM, which is also very nice. The only time I'd like to see something other than OEM in a bottom end, especially like when I'm pulling off a top end to do a change, the only thing better than an OEM, in my opinion, is like a Wossner rod or a Carrillo rod, something, like a high-performance forged rod. These OEM rods are cast, and they do really good. The Japanese have definitely done a really good job about sourcing certain metals that just seem to last longer than some aftermarkets. But that's exactly why we're here today. You see, I need to talk about Pistons with you guys. And I thought this was a really good opportunity because I have quite a few samples to show you guys. And, well, I hope you're going to learn something. I'm almost positive you're going to learn something today. So much so that I'm putting it on video, obviously, for one, and then for two is because that's what I love to do on this channel, is just to help those out there who maybe are not the most mechanically knowledgeable people, give them the tools that they need to fix their bikes and make them last as long as they can. So now let me go set up my little piston array and let's talk cast versus forged. I could say that better. So let's talk cast versus forged. This is a really, really good topic. A lot of you guys don't know about it. A lot of you guys do. I'd say it's probably a good 30-70 split. Yeah, because the guys who are loud about forged, they might be right. Let's talk about it. Pistons, like I said, guys. So look at this little array I have set up for you guys here. So let's talk Pistons, okay? Like, I feel like truly this is probably one of the most debated topics up there with tires about motorcycle repair. I've seen people get absolutely trashed on forums before for saying, hey, I'm going to use this brand or I'm going to use this brand. And then someone rides in on their high horse and says, no, I only use these. Let's be honest, okay? If you're staying up on your maintenance and your piston doesn't look like this one over here, you're doing a good job, and you should really pat yourself on the back for that, because part of owning a dirt bike, or any motorcycle for that matter, is these things are not designed like cars where they're meant to go the high miles and, you know, give you 300, 400,000 miles on an engine. No, you're lucky on an OEM setup, meaning you haven't touched it since brand new. You're lucky to get 200 hours. All these things, which, you know, that could be as far as you can drive in 200 hours. So anyways, guys, here we go with the Pistons. So this is the one I just took out of the 2007 CRF450, and it is exactly how I hoped it would look, which is extremely worn. And hear me right here, I was hoping it was extremely worn because when I got the bike, I was like, okay, you know, I love the organic feel of a carbureted 450. It's a fantastic feel, where the electronic fuel injection bikes, electric start bikes, the new 450s, they're so electric feeling. And there was something really organic and beautiful about the carbureted ones. You know, it's really hard to put it into description. But let me get you in for a closer look here. So I can say with a high level of certainty, I wasn't getting a lot of blow by. There is some areas right here where it was getting kind of hot on the ring. And seeing that these exhaust valve cutouts right here are smaller, that leads me to know that this is the exhaust side. Intakes will be your larger cutouts there. And, well, I'll prove it here. Here's a brand new Wossner piston. Big cutouts at the back, smaller cutouts in the front. That's just how they always are. So here we go. I mean, it's got a lot of hours, a lot of carbon. It's exactly what I was hoping would come out of the bike, especially with the skirt wear. So every piston these days is going to come with this black coating. It's very popular now. It's just a lubricity coating to help the piston as it wears to kind of fill in the gaps. You know, it's kind of like a primer, if you think of it as a primer, you know, and it just fills in the gaps and gives a piston a little bit better skirt wear life. But I started to really get through it on this one, and you could see how this line right here is very profound, and then there's another one down at the end of the skirt here. This tells me that this piston was not long, guys, from looking like that one at all. And that's let me get you back in frame there. This one obviously was shattered because of a valve. You could just tell a valve. And this is for the giveaway bike, the other CRF450 I'm building for the giveaway bike here on the channel. If you guys don't know about that, you can look in my past videos and see the giveaway bike, and you can see how you can win that. There's no purchase necessary. Just buy parts from the link to Rocky Mountain down in my description, and then you're automatically entered. When we hit 100,000 subscribers, which is coming very fast, I'm going to pick one of you guys on the list for just buying your bike, your dirt bike parts using that link. That's it. Cut and dry, simple. So this piston was very close. You can't ever put a number exactly how many hours. This literally could be 5 hours. It could be 10. I really probably wouldn't put it much more over 10, being a cast piston. So let's talk about that. Let's get into that. So cast versus forged. So I have two forged examples for you here. One, this is from Wossner. Like I said, I recently teamed up with Wossner guys after being a huge fan of their pistons for a long time, and I was really excited to get them on board. Bob over there, he sent me a piston here for my 07, and let's start off with forged, guys. One thing about forge that you need to think about is forge is very much like a solid piece of plywood. One sheet of plywood, the grain all going in one direction, whereas the cast is like a particle board, and I mean that in the actual literal terms. The forged piston is a single billet that is driven in with a press into a piston form, and at a very hard pressure, high temperature, it just drives it in there, and then you get a slug which is in a piston shape. Then they machine it, they cut all your valves down. I'm making this sound way easier than it actually is. It's a lot harder than that, but you know, they machine it down, they bore your hole for the piston pin, and then, you know, they cut all the ring landings, ring grooves, and drill it for all the oiling, because you need to get oil to the oiling ring. So there's a lot that goes in on the finish side, but the reason that you forge something for strength is when you press in that ingot in one direction, all the fibers in the metal, in the microscopic level, guys, they're all aligning themselves in one direction. It makes it very strong, a lot stronger than a cast. You will never see a forged ever shatter. It can't. It won't. They'll bend. They'll do all kinds of other weird stuff. They'll bend in a U shape I've seen when they have like a valve like this one, how the valve hit it. You'll see the piston bend, and it's kind of funny. It will maybe crack off like a large piece, but it's not going to have all this shrapnel like this one did. Cast will shatter. As a matter of fact, I have a little quick video for you guys to watch. You can see with the cast piston, you hit it with a hammer and it literally blows apart. It shatters. And then this guy grabs a forged piston, does the same thing, whacks it with a 5-pound sledge, and it's fine. Or it's not fine, but it doesn't shatter. You guys know what I mean. And that's just, again, it has to do with the strength, and that's what it comes down to. So let's move the cast pistons aside. This one did a great job. And I know that there's going to be a lot of guys watching this video that'll say, hey, I've used OEM pistons forever. They're always reliable for me. I've never had any issues, no shattering. It's because people like you who take care of your maintenance. I'm going to say this, guys. The guys who usually have the money to throw at an OEM piston are the ones that are not afraid of putting the time and money into their bike, because OEMs are typically more than say just an aftermarket reproduction part. Where you get better performance and longevity is in a forged, meaning, so if you're looking to turn up the power, really crank up the horsepower, or if you're a rever, you love holding that, you know, throttle wide open for long periods of time, go with a forged. These things are built this way for a reason, to take the high stresses and the heat temperature changes. There's so many factors that come in. So this is a competitor's forged piston. Won't say any names here, but this is a competitor's forged piston, very popular. A lot of people use it. But if you see, these are both for so this one I bought specifically for the giveaway bike. Great forged piston. This one was given to us by Bob at Wossner. Both of these are just OEM replacements. This one isn't some high performance, high compression piston. This is an OEM replacement. This is an OEM replacement from the competitor's website. And you could just see that Wossner, they went in and added some more stability. They bulked it up on this, so it's called a bridge boxing. So they bridge box this piston, and then they also cut in a little, you can see at the bottom down there, there's a little oiling hole for when your oil squirter's spraying up, it gets to it gets everywhere. So it's kind of replicating the same as this. So the oil can get up through the top. You don't completely want to encapsulate the bridge box, so you got to find a way to get for your oil to get in there. But Wossner really went out of their way to make a high performance piston that will take the high stress, high heat, long service interval, compared to, you know, a competitor. You get a lot more life out of this one than a competitor. Again, the coating on the skirts is just there as a lubricity kind of barrier. It's going to help the piston wear for a longer amount of time compared to just a bare-sided piston, where if you get heat scoring in it, it's going to kind of start to rub away the skirt real quick. This protective coating helps the scoring from happening. So this is what I'm going to be putting in our 07 CRF450 tonight, and I know that this piston's going to give me, you know, another 100 hours of just blissful fun, and I won't have to worry about it. I have no idea how much time is on this cast OEM one, but I could tell you this, by holding it in my hand, this thing is way heavier than this. This is very light, noticeably light in the hand. Granted, there is still a pin, the connecting rod piston pin still in there, and then there's still rings in it. That still is what I'm feeling in my hand is still even greater than that. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing popped back in, and I hope you guys learned something. If you're gonna spend money on your rebuild, go with forged. Go with Wossner. They are by far one of the most notable in the industry. Most race teams in Supercross and motocross use Wossner because of their reputation and their reliability and their quality, guys. And not to mention, Star Racing Yamaha team, Eli Tomac, he uses the exact same pistons in his YZ450. Same with Dylan Ferrandis. All the Star Racing Yamaha guys use Wossner pistons. And have you ever seen one of those break down? I don't think so. Not with the piston anyway. With that being said, guys, let's get this beautiful thing on the bike. I don't want to forget this before I get into putting this bike together. Wossner also has their full line of gaskets as well. I will be using these, again, just like with their pistons, OEM quality, if not better on the gasket quality. These things aren't going to leak. They're not going to, do any weird tearing as you're putting them on. They are perfectly amazing, and stoked to see they included the little crush washers too for the head, so that's rad. Don't have to reuse those. Wasn't looking forward to that, but I was gonna. So yeah, we got crush washers in with this too. So go onto their website, www.wossnerpistons.com, and you'll be able to put in your year, make, model, see a full drop down of all the parts that they have available for your bike. They got gasket kits, they got pistons in all kinds of different compression ratios, 13:1, 13:2, they have all 13:2, 13:4, 13:7:1. They got all the high compression ones, and just all that go fast guy stuff. So if you want to run race gas in your bike and you need that high compression piston to follow up with that race fuel, they have every type of piston that you can imagine, and they have a wonderful customer service phone line too, where if you don't know exactly what piston you need to be running in conjunction with what fuel you want to be running, or you can even call them and tell them too, like, hey, I'm planning on, desert racing, doing hill climbs, doing motocross, supercross, whatever it is. They have a technical expert there that can help you out and let you know exactly what piston you're going to need. Who else is going to do that for you guys? Also, these are available on Rocky Mountain's website as well. So down in the description, again, you'll see my link to my Rocky Mountain ATV MC landing page. Nothing special that you need to do there. You click that link, it takes you to their website, you do your order as usual, and then when we hit 100,000 subscribers, you are entered to win the 05 CRF450 Give Away bike, and I'm just getting rolling on that thing too. That thing is going to be insane. We are putting a 2008 CRF450 top end with a cylinder head, the cylinder. We're reworking the entire engine to be an absolute monster. The whole entire bike's going to be something amazing. So if you want to, have a chance to win that, all you got to do is use that link down in the description. And then order your parts as usual. There's literally no change, and then instead you get to win a bike. So that's pretty rad, huh? Quit the gab. I'm gonna go get this on the bike because I kind of want to get this started tonight, and it's already 28 degrees and starting a little bit cold. So yeah, here we go. She's all back together. That literally took me 2 hours from start to finish. I even got a little bit of dinner, so all done. Coolant in, everything's torqued down. Let's go for the first fire. Gotta love the first fire. So, it is worth noting, forged pistons take longer to warm up. They take longer to break in, and because of that, you do have to let them idle longer before you ride them. Because the metal is so much more dense than a cast piston, you need to give it extra time for that metal to expand. And especially on break-in, which is the most critical of all, as you basically have no oil pressure on the top end. It has to build that and start getting oil everywhere that basically you just wiped off of everything. So let's get to kicking. I reckon it's going to take a few kicks. Choke's on, gas is on. Quite a bit more compression now. Give it some wax on the accelerator pump. Ow. So the idle's gonna start coming up on its own. going very soon. There's no oil pressure, so everything's very, very tight. So you want to give it a second. You'll hear the idle come up high. Things are starting to be a little bit smoother. Turn off the choke and just letting it idle. Let's throw a couple revs at it. Running carbureted 4-stroke, like literally there's nothing like it, just wham, wham. Woo. Woo. All right, that's about operating temperature. Let it cool. But yeah, cool. All right, guys, so it's done. I mean, look at it. It's all like buttoned up and ready to go ride tomorrow. I'm way happy with it. You know, something just doing a top end, it just feels right. You know, you sit there and before you're like, all right, I guess I'm going to go do a top end. But then after it's done, you're like, I get to go ride this thing and like really feed the beans and onions now. So. Everything's happening. Yes, guys, it's done. It runs really good, just like I hoped. The throttle response in this thing is just, it's so happy. It just loves life. It loves being a dirt bike. And I love feeding it top ends. You know, I mean, this is the first one. I can't say plural like top ends, but it's done. You know, guys, it only takes a couple hours. Just do it. It's so worth it, and it's great maintenance, especially just to keep a visual and on your internals and make sure nothing weird is happening. And it's a little bit of payback. So guys, I hope you learned something today. Definitely go with your forged internals anytime that you can. It doesn't matter if you're a racer. It doesn't matter if you're just putting around on trails or whatever. And yes, the GoPro's freaking out. And yes, if you use forged internals, it will last longer than cast. Just always, it will. It's just because of the metallurgy and how it's designed, it will last longer. It's worth the extra little bit of money. The GoPro keeps cutting off because it's like in the 20s now in the garage here. You see this? You see the steam? it's cold. So I'm gonna wrap it up here, guys, from the shop garage, whatever. On the 07 CRF450R. Big thank you to Wossner Pistons, guys. Don't forget to go use that Rocky Mountain link down in the description. Go see and go pick yourself up a Wossner Piston. And then you're entered in to win the CRF450 Give Away bike, which will be nicer than this by a lot. And I feel like this one's pretty nice, but it'll be a lot nicer than that one when we're done with it. Once we hit that $100,000, I wish, 100,000 I can't even say it. It's not even, I can't. 100,000 subscriber mark. When we hit that mark, we're giving this thing away. Right now we're sitting just above 82,000 subscribers. And I can't thank anyone. I'm flabbergasted, obviously. I can't get your word out. I can't thank any of you guys enough. It means the world to me. If you're not subscribed, make sure and do that real quick. Make sure and click that bell icon too, because a lot of you guys will say, hey, Lund, you're not dropping that many videos. No, it's just because you need to click that little bell icon and it'll let you know when I made a new video. I try to get one up every Monday, Tuesday. I missed the upload on Tuesday because I already filmed this, just not with the CR. I actually went over to my buddy Ryan's house and filmed the entire thing and lost all the audio. And so I had to redo it, but I was like, you know what? I'll put a top end in the CRF and we'll do it then. And it ended up working out great. So anyways, guys, I love every single one of you. Seriously, from the bottom of my heart. We'll see you on the next one. Peace out for now. Bye. I want to go ride. Baby.